got question, ask me directly.
Okay, a shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
So I'm going to start. I'm
Thanks.
Dr. Gurung. I'm a ST6 doctor. I'm a dual trainee. I've been in psychiatry from 2013. So the presentation that I'm doing is health and well-being. I think, as a doctor, you guys might be aware of health and well-being. So I'm just reiterating some of the things that we already know. My presentation, I'm given 20 minutes slot, but I'll try to concise and make it 10 minutes so you guys can have your own health and mental well-being. Okay. And normally this presentation was done by Adam Joyner, but he left the trust. He gave his presentation, so his presentation was 40 slide. I try to concise in 15 slides. Okay, so the topics that I'm going to cover is stress, burnout, work life, why it's important, and how to address this in three different solution for it: exercise, sleep, and diet. Yeah. So burnout in a simple way means that when you are overworked, you feel emotion, psychological or mental exhaustions from prolonged stress. You feel a sense of having reduced accomplishment. Sometimes there's also doubt of personal identity and depersonalization. And I think for a doctor, it's very common for us to feel this way. Let me move to the second slide. Who are at risk of burnout. I think the some of the basic misconception that we have from our medical training is we consider ourselves as superhuman. We feel as patient comes first. We sometimes we take our work home, um, and sometimes we don't have much of a balance of separating between personal and professional life. And we are, especially during the COVID time, where we worked extra. So these are some of the things that, um, might cause a risk of burnout to us. So we need to be aware of those things. This is one of, a good presentation, good descriptions that, we, if you look at the orange quadrant, you can see performance. And there's a thin line from performance. If you're stressed and burnout, then we can easily go into this burnout or survival zone. So as we work, we need to be very careful how we perform. And there have been some of the cases in NHS. I don't know you guys are aware or not that some the junior doctors working for like 12 hours had a car accident. This incident just happened like um, 2 years ago. Working busy on-call shift for 12 hours. When the on-call finished, that particular junior doctor was driving, end up having a car accident, injured four people, and this junior doctor is currently in prison for 3 years. So you can see, the consequences can be from a simple to a major life-changing event. So please be careful of burnout. It's a real thing. I'm not talking about some mythical, um, or the thing that will never happen. So what we can do to shift from the survival or burnout zone? I think the most important thing is to seek for medical help if you need. Say no to safety. You need to learn how to delegate things. Don't take everything on board. Don't try to micromanage things. Live with less than perfect. As a doctor, sometimes we have this thought that everything needs to be perfect. So, if those jobs which are not urgent, we can just put in a diary and do it next day. You don't need everything to be done today. You don't need to save the world. So sometimes it's also the mindset that you need to change, and don't have this negative beating yourself attitude that if I don't do this, something bad is going to happen. you know th- just try to have empathy towards yourself. Don't try to put too much of pressure and expectation on yourself. Even the mobile phone that you have, you need to charge. So we need to charge ourselves with mindfulness, physical activity, good drink. If you have got chance, take some annual leave, go out for for a holiday, refresh yourself, try to engage with a lot of activities like in LCFT. If you guys are interested in, especially male doctor, there's a um, football activity that they do I think every weekend. So you can engage with them. Try to watch, good movies in Netflix. There are a lot of avenues where you can recharge yourself. So make sure that you look after yourself. As I said, the risk of burnout, it causes reduced productivity. It also impacts your performance. And indirectly, as a professional, I think we need to also be careful that we deal with the patients, and it can also compromise patient safety. Yeah. Okay. In summary, burnout, it leads to drowning in adrenaline, cortisol, different chemicals in the brain. And sometimes it makes you behave stupid and unfriendly. This is the simple way I can put it as a burnout. So far I've come to half of my presentation, 5 minutes. Has anyone got any question before I move to the solution part of how to deal with burnout? No?
Nothing in the chat. No one's got a hand up.
Okay, so why is it important? I think it's important because we only have like one life, okay, one life to live. And it's important because we want to live our life as the fullest. We don't want unnecessary stress from work or even from outside. And burnout doesn't necessarily mean that it will only happen in a workplace. It can also happen from your personal stuff and social, your day to day. So be mindful of your own and try to do a lot of reflections. The main reason why it's important is you need to be happy. Okay, and happiness means different thing to different people. So what we can do, one of the best method I could advise is exercise. You can see me in the middle of the picture. Last year, basically, I was potato couch. I had put like 90 kg, and I thought, oh, enough is enough. So this year, I managed to do one full marathon, 5 half marathon, 25 10K, and 40 parkrun. So I decided to look after myself, and I tell to my wife and that out of 24 hours, at least I need to have 1 hour for myself. So I have seen a huge difference in my life with exercise. In terms of exercise, I would say try to do 45 to 90 minutes and at least have some sweat. That will make you more healthy and it will make you more productive. So this is one of the way to address burnout. Um, and the most important thing which I felt, during this journey is the mindset. One of the books that I've read was Atomic Habits. From this, what I've learned is in order to develop new habits, you need to have a clue, I can see it. Then you need to develop a craving, I like it, and responses, I want it, and a reward. I'll give you an example that, I was very lazy with running. So in order to create this habit, what I did was in the nighttime, I got everything ready, like my running shoes, dress, and everything in the place where I could see. In the morning when I saw it, I had a craving and I did running. So in my reward, I always kept that after running, I would have a hot coffee and a hot bath. So this kept me, no matter how tired I am, I had something to look forward. Okay, so this it helped me to create the habit, and habit, it doesn't happen in 1 or 2 days. You need to do the things regularly in order to have that as a habit. And the habit, it can be positive as well as negative. So make sure if you have got negative habits, you need to replace with a positive habit. And as a psychiatrist, doctor, or as a doctor, I think it's a simple thing, but sometimes we tend to ignore the simple thing. Okay, so make sure that you do something positive. And I've seen a lot of negative excuse that I don't have enough time. I've got family commitment. So those are also like which I consider as automatic negative thoughts. So those thought I would consider as a cancer. So make sure that if you have got negative thoughts, also try to use some positive words in order to and in order to minimize those automatic negative thoughts. Yeah. So to address burnout, number 1 is exercise. So let me go to the next one. Sleep is also very, very important. Yeah. I would recommend at least have like 7 hours um, sleep. If you don't have sleep, you can see, it can impact in different way. It can impact your appetite. It also causes a lot of physical health problems. Um, and also, like avoid to have alcohol and those things that can impact your sleep. As I know that, as a junior doctor, most of you will be covering on call. And so even if you have got a set of on call, make sure that it takes at least like 2 or 3 days to regulate your sleep. Okay, so give enough time for yourself and don't try to use any mobile or any device while going to bed. So try to keep, those mobiles and everything that prevents you from having sleep outside your bed. Yeah. Okay. So diet, the third thing to address is diet. The slides that I was given, they talk more about vegan diet and this and that. What I felt is I'm not an activist to address on vegan and this. What I would advise is what I found is diet is more of like garbage in and garbage out. If you guys are aware of computer, if you put healthy diets in your body, it gives you a healthy body. Okay, so in terms of diet, make sure you include enough of fruits and vegetable. I would consider 30-30-30 formula. That means 30% of your diet needs to include fruits and vegetables, complex carbohydrate, vegetables, and protein. Okay. Uh, okay. So whenever when you are in a burnout situation, what you can think about is this is what I found from a personal experience. You can change the situation, or you need to change the mindset. If you feel like the work that you're doing is too much for you, make sure you have a conversation with your supervisor and make some arrangement that might make you feel burnout. Okay. Make sure, if you're not feeling well, just try to take some sick leave, and recharge your battery. You need to look after yourself. Yeah. And in order to change your mindset, to do all of those things, your mindset needs to change. You can change the mindset by reading, providing new information to your brain. Some of the books that I would recommend is, there's a book written by Professor Diet Myth. He got an MBA. So this is some studies which has been going on that our gut consists of different microbes which influence our diet. Atomic Habits, which I have discussed before. There's a good book, Why We Sleep. It helps you to acknowledge the importance of sleep. The last book I would recommend is Chim Paradox. That is, it provides you to have a different mindset. Yeah. So I think this is my last slide, and I'm finishing for today. Okay. Beside your work, also focus on your family. I've got a two lovely daughter, and what I think is work is work. Okay, when you are out from your work, you also have a life. Okay, don't think that your work is life. In your work, you are replaceable. When you go home, you are a dad, you're a husband, so you're not replaceable. So that is what I consider, and try to separate your personal and family life. In my personal life, if I introduce any myself to anyone, I never address myself as a doctor because I don't want to take the burden of a doctor. For my daughters, I'm not a doctor, I'm a father. For my wife, I am a husband. Okay, so when I say to my I cannot say to my wife, please address me as a doctor. So try to separate this, two things. And there's a picture which, and the reason why I put that picture is whatever you do, try to be consistent. Like, if you're trying to climb a ladder, if you think that, okay, I will climb the ladder in 2 or 3 days, the thing is those steps will be removed. So on the fourth or the fifth day, you have to climb a longer ladder. Okay, so consistency is very important, and have a routine. So routine also helps to provide a bit of reassurance that life is moving in the right direction. Okay, so if you don't have the consistency, what happens is a lot of the works and this, it piles up and it creates unnecessary pressure for you. The other important bit, which I also found it very useful in my workplace, is have a diary. Okay, have a discussion with your secretary as well as your workplace, and try to plan for at least like 3 or 4 months. Give your diary to, I always give my diary like 3 months ahead to my secretary and my supervisor, so they know that what I'm doing. Try to plan a holiday like 4 or 5 weeks ahead, so at least you have got something to focus on. It's easy for me to tell all of these things, but in order to experience, what I would say is, you have to practice. There's no any easy way out than, to practice. So I'm just finishing my session. I know that these are the topics that you already know, but I'm just reiterating again. So you feel love for your life. Yeah. So welcome to LCFT. And if you are stressed, we have got a seniors, as well as juniors, who are always welcome to here to you. As a middle grade, we have also created a foodie group. If any guys of you are interested, we meet in a month 2 or 3 times. We go to a restaurant, we have a chat, we eat food. Okay, so if any problems and this and that, we are very approachable. Trust, just contact us and we can have a discussion. Yeah. So I'm done for today's session and hope you have a lovely break. Take care.
Thanks, Dio. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks, bye. And
Any
just
question for me before I leave?